Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to get into something I think we all know, a feeling that's so common it's almost invisible. I call it the silent shift. It's that
Yeah.
moment you get this crystal clear insight,
Yeah.
a boundary you have to set, a job you need to leave, something you absolutely have to say, and yet you do nothing.
Mm.
You're just frozen.
And that gap, right? The gap between the knowing and the doing, that's where all the real stuff is.
Exactly.
Because the insight, that lives up here in the logical mind. But the action, the actual movement, that's all in the body. It's in the nervous system.
And the space between them feels like failure.
It does, but it's not. It's more like a living field of resistance. It's filled with old fears, and just unfinished business.
Yeah, that resistance is a real ache. It's not some big explosion. It's that quiet realization that you just can't keep pretending anymore.
Yes.
It's the physical cost, I think,
Yeah.
of holding your breath while telling everyone, it's fine, I'm fine.
And that holding, that's the place to start, that pause. You have the thought, clear as day, I can't keep living like this.
Right.
But the body, its first job is survival, so it immediately looks for the safest path, which is usually the one you already know.
So we shouldn't see that pause as weakness.
Not at all. We need to honor it. It's an adaptation. It's something we learned for a very good reason, probably a long, long time ago.
Can you say more about that? Because in the moment, it really does feel like I'm failing. You choose the softer words, you avoid the conflict, and then there's a quiet mourning for the part of you that didn't get to speak.
Of course. But that choice to soften, to self-edit, that was probably necessary at some point. Think about it. We learn pretty early on that our complete, unedited truth,
Especially the messy parts.
especially the messy parts, anger, big joy, deep need, speaking that stuff out loud might have cost us safety, or love, or a sense of belonging.
So we got good at making ourselves smaller.
We got incredibly skilled at it. It was an act of integrity toward keeping ourselves safe. But there's a tipping point.
Okay.
And it's not when you suddenly feel powerful or brave. It's when the sheer energy it takes to stay the same finally becomes more painful than the fear of change.
Oh, that's it. That's it, exactly. It's when you realize, I can't unknow what I now know.
Yes.
The foot is lifting off the ground, even if you haven't taken the step yet.
Precisely. And we can actually map this out. Your truth, that thing you need to say or do, that's becoming the main figure in your awareness. It's demanding your attention.
And everything else is the background.
Exactly. And the background is all the stuff that made silence feel necessary. The fear of being abandoned, that little voice of shame, the belief that maybe your needs are just too much.
The tension I feel, that internal fight,
Yeah.
that's just the new thing, trying to emerge from the old stuff.
It's a sign that you are making full contact with reality, maybe for the first time. And it hurts because it's challenging a system that's been in place for decades.
It really feels like the conflict starts inside me, long before anyone else is even involved, and it shows up in my body first.
It absolutely does. The body sends us these little messages, and they're not symptoms to fix, they're just data.
Data about what?
Data about where our natural flow of experience is getting blocked. For instance, just notice. Notice the tightness in your jaw when you agree to do something you really don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or that specific heaviness in your chest when you're just scrolling on your phone, feeling kind of absent from your own life.
Or that wave of exhaustion that hits you right after you've had to perform being okay.
Yes, that's it. Those are all physical clues. They're telling you that your natural cycle of experience has been interrupted.
Right, because we're wired for that rhythm, aren't we? You feel something, you become aware of it, you get ready to act, you act, and then you feel the satisfaction.
And then you rest. It's a beautiful natural cycle. But our old survival reflexes, they jump in and break that cycle all the time.
Okay, so let's break that down. Where does it usually get stuck? What's the first roadblock?
Well, often the first interruption happens right after you become aware. You have the impulse, I need to say something about this.
Yep.
But immediately, all that energy, instead of going outward towards the world, it gets turned inward against yourself.
So I'm basically acting on myself instead of on the situation.
Precisely. Instead of speaking up, you redirect that energy into, say, analyzing yourself. Maybe I'm overreacting, or I should just be more grateful.
Oh, wow. I do that all the time.
And that impulse, which was pure and real, gets trapped in your body. It becomes chronic tension, or that constant inner critic. The engine is running, but the car is in park.
That explains that. churning feeling, that friction. Okay, but what if I get past that? What if I'm actually ready to move?
Then you might hit the second major interruption. I call it the mobilization freeze.
The mobilization freeze.
Your energy is there, you have the words, you know what you need to do, but in that tiny moment right before you act, the nervous system just pulls the emergency brake.
And your body's basically screaming, danger.
It's screaming danger because the present moment feels just enough like an old, unsafe memory. And what happens? Your throat tightens up, your mind goes blank, your hands get cold.
The body just shuts down.
It chooses immobility. It's a survival response. Your mind is ready, but your body is paralyzed by a memory of a threat, not an actual one.
That's such a key distinction. It's not current danger, it's a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Okay, so let's say I somehow push past the freeze. I actually do it. I say the thing.
Yeah.
But then this wave of guilt or anxiety just washes over me.
And that's the third break. It happens after you've made contact, you did it, you set the boundary, but you can't stay there. You immediately lose yourself in how you think the other person is reacting.
You collapse into doubt.
Total collapse. Was I too harsh? Did I ruin it? Maybe I was selfish. You merge with their discomfort or what you imagine is their discomfort instead of staying with your own truth. You never get to feel the satisfaction.
So forcing myself to just do it is probably the worst thing I can do.
It often is, because it just bypasses the real issue and reinforces the body's belief that taking action is dangerous. The work isn't to fight the freeze, it's to slow down and get curious about it.
So just ask.
Just gently ask yourself, what happens inside me, in my body, the moment I think about acting?
And when I do that, when I slow down, I hear those two voices. One is the protector saying, if you say this, you'll be left alone. But then there's this other quieter voice that whispers, if you don't say this, you're leaving yourself alone.
Yeah.
And they both feel so real.
And they both need to be heard. That's the key. That part that wants to keep you small and quiet, its job is to protect you, to keep you connected. We can't just silence it. We have to bring our awareness into a relationship with both parts.
It's funny, I always assume I know exactly how the other person is going to react, almost always negatively.
And that's history sneaking into the present. That's projection.
Projection.
You're taking an old fear, like the fear of being criticized or abandoned, and you're putting it onto the face of the person in front of you right now. You're reacting to your boss as if he's your critical father.
Wow. So I'm not even in the present moment. I'm arguing with a memory.
In a way, yes. And a good question to ask yourself is, am I carrying someone else's reaction as if it's already happened?
That one question seems to create a little bit of space. The threat suddenly doesn't feel so solid. It's more like a possibility, not a certainty.
It is. And when you can hold both those parts, the one that wants to protect you and the one that wants to speak, then the action comes from a place of alignment, not rebellion.
And that feels so different. Action from alignment feels lighter. Even if it's scary, forcing it always feels heavy.
Yes. Which means that point of no return we're all looking for. It's not some big, dramatic decision.
It's not quitting the job on the spot.
Shh. Rarely. It's usually a very quiet moment, a moment of profound recognition, maybe born from just being so tired, where you simply stop lying to yourself.
It might just be a soft no that only you can hear.
Or a subtle shift in your posture. Or just finally letting yourself feel the grief of it all. It's that moment, deep in your bones, that you just can't go back.
You can't go back to being the person who could live in that silence.
You've outgrown it, like a snake shedding its skin. You're completing an old cycle. The unspoken thing stops haunting you because you've finally turned and looked at it. You've offered it your presence.
That feels so much more sustainable. To know that when the action finally comes, it won't be from desperation, but from this integrated, messy, but whole version of myself.
Exactly. The real change doesn't start by hating where you are. It starts by feeling where you are completely. And once you do that, once you tell yourself the truth, that clarity, that becomes your new ground.
And you can't really untaste that clarity once you've had it. Every choice you make after that gets filtered through this new awareness.
And that's the real invitation, isn't it? It's ongoing. You'll still shrink sometimes. You'll still feel that pull to go silent. But the choice is different now.
It's not truth versus safety anymore.
No, it's which discomfort do I choose? The old, familiar discomfort of self-abandonment, or the new, uncertain but alive discomfort of growth.
Wow. So the whole journey, this whole struggle to act, was really just a journey back to yourself.
It always is. And for you listening, just remember, you are not broken for having waited. You're human. You adapted perfectly to conditions that required your silence. But the doorway is open now. And every single time you choose presence over performance, even if it's just noticing the tightness in your jaw and breathing into it, you're walking through it again. The invitation isn't to live flawlessly, it's to live fully.